welcome back to Metal of Honour. As you can see, we're in a new workshop, new background behind. There's still like a few of those little sort of teething problems of knowing where my tools are. Everything's kind of where I want it to be, but you know, when you're making stuff, it's just remembering where the odd thing is, and so it's, making things is actually a little bit slow at the minute. But within a couple of weeks, I should be just reaching out for things, remembering where I've put them, and it should all be good. But yeah, nice to be back in the new studio. You've seen the thumbnail. You know, we're just going to make a talk bangle. I was hoping that being like the first proper video in the studio, everything was going to go smoothly. But literally, the very first clip I recorded of where I bend do the first bend in the metal, and show you sort of like myself like measuring it so you can see the dimensions. It didn't record properly. So when we jump into the video, you're just going to see it already bent a little bit, but you didn't really miss much. But it's a bit of rectangle wire, straight from the bullion dealer, 6.4mm wide by 3.2mm depth. So a nice thickness. We'll jump straight into the video, have a catch up and all that sort of stuff. So as you can see, it is already bent, but as I twist it round, so that first bend was literally just pushing it down. And like I say, this is 6.4 by 3.2mm dimensions. So most of the time, normally like on your bullion dealer's website or wherever you're ordering it from, it will state that it's fully annealed when it arrives. So with this, I've not annealed it once. It's literally straight from the postie, signed for, out the packet, straight to the bench and start bending. I've not had to. There's been that sort of no risk of fire stain from having to heat it up, and it's a torque bangle, so we want a lot of tension in there anyway. But you can see, like, do the most that you can with your hands. Gradually on like the small. It's just a. I'm not even sure what sort of wood it is. I don't know if it's beech or. There's probably someone else watching that knows their wood and knows exactly what this is made of. It might be beech. I can't remember. But you basically start at like the smaller oval just to get like a nice sharp kink in, and gradually sort of bring it up to like the wider part, moving backwards, you know. And then when you have to, then reach for your rawhide mallet or a wooden mallet or acrylic or whatever your personal preference is. But yeah, but this is now mainly just keeping an eye on the shape. You can sort of look down, like holding the handle there, and you can sort of look down quite a bit. See what sort of like oval you're getting, if you actually want it sort of like quite steep or quite sort of narrow. And a lot of it will depend on the wrist. Because this is just for a video, I've just done this for my size, so you can see like just my process. And between like the filming bits of this, you can see literally if you were to make this non-stop, sorry, if you were to make this non-stop, you'd probably do this in about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Yeah, it's quite an easy one to do, but it's got to be done right. If you overhit it on a certain part, or sort of like overbend it, you're gonna you sort of have like a risk of getting it onto this wooden mandrel, especially if you haven't got a steel one as well, which I've got. Don't use it often, but that's like your get out of jail free card. If you over kink it and you need to flatten a little bit of it. But being that we don't want to anneal this, we want to keep all the tension in there, keep it nice, just try and get it right first time. So you can see at the moment the whip's kind of okay. You can see I'm sort of I want to reduce this, like for just make it a bit more oval. So this is when I jump onto like a steel plate. You could do it on your anvil, but put a bit of cardboard underneath, a nice thick bit of card, because you just dent the back less, or in this case not at all. And the more dents you put in, the more dents you've got to get out at the end. So yeah, prevent it as you're going along the way. Of course, you would see quite a few of these online, but even doing this, sort of, I've seen somewhere people have done it with 1.2 mil thick bits of sheet or rectangle wire, or whatever they've made themselves, or even like 1.5. It's because it's going to be like the open torque, like on the thumbnail. It's just too flimsy, and you'll just lose it, and it'll end up kinking, bashing. Also, there are some ladies that prefer chunkier sort of jewellery, but as like a bloke's bit, it's nice to have that bit of weight there. I think this weighed about 50 grams or something. I think I bought like 250 mil, like 25 centimeters. But yeah, so I wasn't completely sure of what I was going to do with this at one stage. So I might redo another one of these, but actually do it with so it's a sealed top and bottom, and actually put like a real sort of chunky hinge on it, and so you can see how I'd sort of rivet up a hinge. But that'll be another video down the line. So at this point, like you see, I did start off on the wooden mandrel, sort of hitting it down. That's more so that I didn't overhit it. So then, literally like sort of free space it, if you like, sort of tapping it down where you want it. Then of course, as long as the card's underneath, just with the rawhide mallet again, you just want to flatten it off as much as possible. Just to make it a bit easier later for like when you're sanding it down at the sides. But this is basically the overall shape that I want. I know before I've said like I won't time lapse videos, but the measurement that you'll see me do here for that little top cut there, I mark it out as 25mm that I cut out. Then when I cut that out, I realised it's just too. It was just too small. So when I actually marked out about another 5mm on each side, I actually time lapsed that and done it 3 times the speed. But that was literally just cutting 2 extra little offcuts, which you don't want to see me do that anyway. You already see me cut through the main 2 sections. So on this, that's the only little bit I time lapsed, because that was like my little mistake. I don't know why I thought I've got small wrists, but I don't know why I thought my wrist would go through like an inch gap, you know, that sort of 25mm-ish. It's a bit ridiculous. And you notice on my videos as well, I always try and hide my index finger. That's why I just can't stand the sight of it. I just try and keep out of the way as much as possible. But yeah, be careful with your hammers. You hit your fingers too many times, it absolutely knackers your fingers, and it just looks hideous. You know, you just want to hide it away. It's like, I don't know, it's like the fingernail equivalent of Quasimodo, you know, like lumps and bumps and just ugly as, you know. Yeah, so this is the first bit where I'd actually marked out 25mm. I don't know what I was thinking, why I thought my wrist was going to go through there. But so this is quite a small bangle. If you work out or just got normal general sized blokes' wrists, you might want to cut out a little bit more. Although if you started off with a 25mm, you might find that the gap in the top is a little bit bigger as well, or you will find that blatantly. Yeah, so obviously this bit's a bit boring anyway. So that's why I time lapsed the second bit of me cutting like the extra amounts off. So I didn't want to exclude it completely, so you could see my mistake. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah. So of course, if you're doing this for a customer, I'd normally have like a bit of, say, just a bit of 2mm round wire, possibly. Yeah, maybe about 2mm. Something that's always big that you can always draw down again and reuse. So if my customer's sitting at my desk and I'm sort of quoting and pricing up what it's going to cost, to get their actual size, I will just use a plain piece of wire. I wouldn't get a piece of card and cut a little sliver off and wrap it round. I want to do it properly with like a thicker bit of wire just to gauge it, because you can always tweak it a little bit, like when like your customer finally comes to collect it. But the closer you can get it first time, the better. So saving yourself some time is always a winner. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be in the new workshop. I've almost finished recording it. I've almost finished recording 2 videos as like extras. So that's why I haven't done the commentary of this a little bit sooner. That's why it's not going on YouTube till on the Sunday night, as I used to try and do. I should be back on that schedule quite soon. But I end up. I just happened to do like a couple of other jobs, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to record that. So of course, when you record, it does slow you down a little bit because of getting the camera to where you want it to be. But there's one with sort of like invisible setting, just a couple of little stones, but like the invisible gypsy set, just a couple of simple ones, and another bloke's bracelet, just a different idea. Instead of just doing wire wrapped around and linking up all the time, it's just putting like little sort of cylinders in the middle for a bit of weight, and I say it just looks quite nice, or like sort of like masculine, you know. But yeah, I've recorded most of that. I'm just waiting for like a clasp to come for that. I wasn't doing a handmade clasp, just want a normal one just to go on the end. And you can see that this is the bit that I've sped up. You'd never saw out a piece of metal at that speed. It's you just killed the blade. Yeah, so don't think this is real time. And of course, I've still got about another 30 odd videos on my list that I want to record and make and everything. But of course, where I've been moving, the move took longer than expected. Okay, so he said here that this straight away in like the wedge clamps with the wedge underneath pushing up, just to cut 0 file, just to get that flatness out, then gradually like on the edge, on like the 2 main corners, then sort of rolling it over so it's got a nice softness to the actual bangle. So I've still got loads of videos that I want to record. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to all of them. But there's almost like a year's worth of listing, or at least 30 weeks worth. But I know there's going to be other videos and other things I'm making in between that I'm, like the last 2 videos that I've done, they weren't even on the list. You know, so I've probably got like a year's worth really. Just not the time. But of course, like when I was actually doing the move, it took quite a while sort of getting the insurance ready. My son came in and welded up like a big cage gate on the door for like the security, so it looks like, so it's literally like we're sitting inside an actual vault with sort of like 4 or more sort of locks on the doors, and yeah, it's like Fort Knox in here. But yeah, just the time, sort of like doing the move in the car. So I've only got like a hatchback, so there's like 11 or 12 journeys in the car. Then once all the insurance was finally sorted, just went to get all the safe and all like the long benches and like sort of kitchen units and stuff. Yeah, so it's about 3 weeks I was out of action. So at the moment I am playing catch up with the work that actually pays as well as doing like the YouTube, literally like tiniest bit of pocket money. You could buy a few packs of sweets or something, but obviously it's not a big channel, so but I'm sure it'll get there. I'm sure it'll get there if people keep watching. Any questions about any of these things as well, please put in the comments, or let me know what you've been up to as well. I know a few people did on the last video. A few comments on the older videos as well, like wondering where I've got to. Obviously, sort of missing in action for a little while. But back. I'm very pleased to be back. So it's just a case of like getting rid of some like backlog and got some quite interesting jobs on at the moment, and some quite sentimental repairs as well, which I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into. I might even record a couple of those as well, show how to do a professional repair, not just, especially when the rings are thinner, not just sort of putting the rings together and flooding it with solder and literally leaving the solder on and just buffing it a bit and polishing it. Sorry, excuse me. Like literally like soldering, buffing a little bit and polishing it. We can see the colour difference blatantly. Yeah, but yeah, I might do a video for some proper repairs. You can see after I've done both sides of these, this might have been the 400 or 500 grit paper, but they're both so similar. But just to get that, like the last of the file marks off, you know, because it's silver being softer, you don't always have to go down all the grades of files. Quite often you can just jump straight in. So if you notice from the thumbnail as well, this is going to have like polished sides, but a nice flat satin top, and satin inside as well. Using like a sheet of Scotch-Brite, sort of folded over, pressed hard to make it firmer, and really sort of pulling down. I will be using this as well for use it for an engraving demo at some stage. Because obviously, even when it's on your wrist, it doesn't matter how tight and neatly you make it, it can still, depending on what you're doing, it can still twist around. So on the bit that goes up to the top, to the opening, I'm going to do a little bit of engraved detail on the top two parts. Then when you flip it over, the main sort of body of it that goes along the centre, I'm going to do like another sort of geometric sort of pattern in there. So hopefully show people how to do a little bit more engraving, but getting into like tight corners, which is always the hardest bit on any engraving, especially if you're aiming to do it neatly, which I always do, of course. And especially if I'm going to teach it, I want to teach how to do it neatly. And of course, at this stage as well, I'm still trying to plan out how to go forward with doing like the eventual membership sort of side of it, with like the business advice and like the harder projects to make. You know, the sort of ones when I do my videos that will be like the watch me make. We can sort of watch it going through, seeing roughly how I do it. And if a lot of people have watched my videos of all these things, literally doing all these basics, even just what I've already made on the channel, you can almost make anything if you set your mind to it and just think a little bit. You know, it's not all super tough to do, but yeah, like eventually, like some of the tutorials I'll do is like the Patreon or members only section, but I'll do like the shorter videos for the YouTube. But there'll always be tutorials still on the channel. So of course, for like this bit, we do the outside first, because like if we've done the inside first, by the time it comes to getting a firm push on the buff stick for the outside, all the inside will be starting to burnish and scratching and getting marks on it. So the best way to do it, outside first, always. Even if you were planning to do this as a polished outside and inside, like complete, you do the outside first, always, and then you'll see in a second. But then once you've done that, you can put it on like the leather, just a bit of leather padding of some kind, however thick you want to sort of fold it up, just so you can rest it on, then do the inside. Okay. And because I'm satin finishing this, sometimes I go down through all of the grades, but it depends how fussy you are or what you want to do. But you can do it like this with like the 400 or 500-ish grit. That should get out all the little kinks. As long as that first stage, when we're sort of banging it on the wooden mandrel, if you haven't overcooked it, you know, sort of got a bit too much of a kink in one side and had to straighten it, and it's created a kink down the bottom, that's the time when you might have to even sort of result to like go into files even just to get any sort of real nasty bits out. But hopefully it won't come to that, and you would have sort of taken it a little bit easy, you know. Yeah, I see. On that last little video where I said I'm in Sittingbourne, Kent, obviously England. It's like little challenge in the last video with like the ear posts, sort of saying if anyone can find the business. Yeah, there's a few people that found it. But yeah, but my actual main business, if anyone wants to be nosy, my Instagram is Lawley, LAWLEY underscore design. Lawley underscore design. That's my Instagram for like for my business, for my jewelers. My website for said jewelers is all the W's, lawleydesign.com. lawleydesign.com. But Instagram is normally where I send sort of customers or anyone sort of inquiring. Sort of say, like, there's the photos of, I think I've got like 1,400 photos of stuff, you know. Everything from like jewellery to myself and my wife H making stuff up. I say H, real name's Helen, but everyone calls her H. But yeah, but there's photos of both of us sort of making stuff. At some stage, when I get more time and get backlog out of the way, I might even get H to come on and just make the videos. It might be easy if I get H to make stuff and I'll just record her making it. But we'll see how we go. See how it all pans out and stuff, you know. But yeah, so Lawley underscore design is the Instagram. Lawley Design Facebook, but there's not really that much on there. But yeah, main website is lawleydesign.com. Obviously with all the W's. But yeah, not that although if anyone's got any questions or anything, put them down in the comments here for like the YouTube videos, because that's the only place I'll sort of reply to questions and stuff. Any like for the Instagram, I don't really do a lot of the Instagram. It's for me personally, I answer sort of quite a few emails for like customers that are coming in, whereas my wife does the emails as well, but she does pretty much all of the Instagram as well. So somehow she fits all that in. But yeah, it's so any questions related to the YouTube channel would literally just be ignored on my normal sort of platforms. But yeah, any questions, chuck down here. I've not even sort of investigated how the members section works or the Patreon, but I think you can do private messages on there eventually as well. But when I do that members thing, I'll also even be able to like arrange phone calls and, you know, just like have an actual chat or like a one-to-one sort of like WhatsApp video call for like certain help with things or advice, or maybe like Zoom meetings with all of the members, you know. It depends how many people we're getting there. But that'll probably all come sort of sometime in the new year when I sort of change things up. By then I'll be completely settled in this new place. So this buff stick as well is just like the round. You can just buy, you notice with a lot of my buff sticks, I generally have like a couple of round ones, but a lot of flat. The pre-bought ones are nice for when you want to get into some real sharp corner edges. Even though they don't last long, you can still like rewrap them yourself. Like say like with the flat rectangle buff sticks, I see some people, it's fine, but some people just wrap it around, put an elastic band around. Whereas like my ones, you notice they are pretty crisp on like the corners. But I just have like an old scalpel, or you could like a knife, or maybe like a blunt scalpel, just to score it down as you fold each bit, score it, fold down, score. So by the time you wrap the whole sort of A4-ish sheet of buff paper, then put your elastic band round, it stays quite crisp. So you can see that sort of, see me doing there a few sort of like little touches on the inside with like the Scotch-Brite. I can't remember, I'm sure this was sort of about 45 or 50 grams, this bangle. But it's got a nice weight to it. But I'd definitely say give this a go. But of course, as soon as you do things like this, even if you've done a ladies one, you could like pave set stones all around the outsides, around sort of like both rims. So there are ladies that do like the chunkier stuff, but or like you'll see me do eventually, like the another engraving video, where I do like the centre detail, quite a big line of it, and a couple of little details on these little edges that you can see on now. But yeah, but I'll look forward to doing that. I know exactly what pattern I'm doing. So it's kind of like a checkered, but with some like triangles in it as well, sort of top and bottom, and sort of like flowing through. So again, as soon as you get to the side bit, keep it on the lever again. You know, it just makes it nice for moving it around and the movement and the flow. And the same with all of the metals. If you're doing this on the wood, the less scratches you put in, the less you've got to buff out. And you want an easy life. I don't know how many times on the channel I've said before. But yeah, having an easy life doing some of this, not making super hard work for yourself. It's just a whole work smarter. You know, still work hard, but just don't make it harder than it needs to be. I feel like I should put a Michael Scott, that's what she said, post up there. But yeah, don't make it harder than it needs to be. But yeah, on a bit of leather is great. All these little bits of leather that you see, I use. Like one of them's an old apron I had, one that I'd got off Amazon or eBay, and literally after about 3 months, where all the buckles were, it just started tearing. So instead of throwing it away, I just cut it up. Sort of being a bit of a hoarder. I generally keep a lot of crap about, and I tend not to throw stuff away. Yeah, bit of a bad habit. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are hoarders as well. And there's another, but before I had that apron that I cut up, I'd actually gone online for like a leather sofa company, and there's a little thing where you can just fill out for like free samples. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, there's a thing where you can click for free samples, and I've just got loads of little bits of leather offcuts sent to me, like different thicknesses as well. It was great. Yeah, you'll only get away with doing it for so long. I'm sure if I kept doing that, I'd end up getting blacklisted, and no more samples. But yeah, but this old leather apron was from a few years ago, and it's lasted ages. You can see now, like after I'd gone on with that sort of 400 or 500 grit paper, I'm straight to my 800. And being 800, you can go straight in and get like a nice pre-polish on that before final polish. You notice on this bit as well, it's a shame that it keeps sort of going blurry, but there's a lot happening there. There was a couple of little lines that I wasn't happy with, so I do just jump back to that 400 or 500 grit. I think it's 500 grit, this one. See me do like, just jump back to it quickly and just give it a little once over, you know, and then go back again. So you see, if you see a scratch there, it's not the end of the world. You can see that this hasn't taken me long to get all the way around that sort of perimeter of the bangle with the rougher buff stick again, to go back in. Is a lot of these things, unless you're actually soldering and you overheat something and you melt it, there's no need to sort of get disheartened. You know, you just suck it up and crack on with things. Obviously, if you melt something that's quite important, yeah, maybe like run and bang your head on the wall, and get upset a bit, but then suck it up and start again. But yeah, but things like this, it's no bother. You can see how quick it is to rectify like little mistakes and stuff. Like I say, like from the thumbnail, it does look like quite a simple bangle, but there are a lot of points where certain things can go wrong. But it's a nice little learning curve, you know. It's something that you can make quite easily, even if you're making it for the first time. You shouldn't really spend more than a couple of hours, maybe. If I was doing this without setting up the camera and cutting the right size gap as well in the first place, I'd probably make this in about half an hour. Yeah, probably about half an hour. And of course, there's no fire stain to deal with. I will do a video on fire stain as well at some point, because there's a lot of people that have been told a lot of weird, bad things. This stuff's called micro mesh. I'll get this. I used to have to get it from Germany years ago, but a normal tool place in England does make it now. They do sell it. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if it's American or German. It probably said on the back there. But yeah, it comes in like the 3600, which that's what this is. Then 6000 grit. Then I think 8000 and 32,000. I can't remember. If not sure, just rewind that little bit and you'll see me as I've peeled them off. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was literally just up on screen. But yeah, these are quite handy, these little things. Especially like when you're sort of doing wedding rings and you're sort of doing final sort of like buffs in it, and like before you want to polish it up, getting it to this sort of standard on the edges. And you don't just have to use it on a flat surface. You can, because it's on fabric as well, and it's quite hard to tear. But yeah, it's so smooth, so soft, and you can literally sort of wrap it around things. Even if you're making like a curve, like a cool wedding ring, you can sort of put your thumb over the top, take the shape of your thumb, let your thumb take the shape of the ring, and sort of pull it around, and really sort of, it's almost like a cloth. Of course, this is zoomed in quite a bit as well, and as anyone that uses like eyeglasses a lot or microscopes, especially if I don't know, some of you might even be watching this on like a laptop or TV even. When something's big, you're going to see all the scratches. Literally, when you're buffing metal, even if there was 100,000 grip, even with like a final polish, you're holding the piece, and it looks like a mirror finish. That's perfect. And if you're aiming for a polish, that's perfect. But if you actually looked in under a microscope, zoomed right in, you'll see loads of scratches. So that is all the polishing is. Going through the rough buff paper or rough files, obviously it's super scratchy. Going through all the buff papers as fine as you want to go. Then through like the micro meshes, and then onto the polishing compound. See, I've gone straight in with a final polish on this. I've not even done a pre-polish because I know it's going to come out like a mirror. Unless you're watching it on TV and it's blown up at like 50-inch, 60-inch TV, and you're going to see scratches anyway. So I'd recommend watching these videos on like a tablet at the most, possibly a laptop, small laptop. But anything too big, the end result isn't ever going to look how it actually does in real life, you know. But going through those micro meshes, which you see how quick that had taken me. That was so quick. Instead of having to go and get all grubby and sort of go with the pre-polish on the big polishing mop or the little polishing motor. And again, I've only polished this on the little pendant mop. If you got like I've got over there, like right over in front of me, the big polishing motor that spins with like the big sort of 6-7 inch mops on. You can do it on that, absolutely no problem at all. It's just whatever your preference is. Depends how much time you got. And for me, because it's been a video, I've been using like the pendant motors, little polishing mops a lot more. Just because it's like one less area to try and set up as like a temporary little sort of studio and get more light in and stuff. So for me, the more things I can do in one space, the better. So you can see that will add all like the fingerprints on it and that. But like by the time you have it, put it in the ultrasonic, you can see it's all clean again. But of course, being shiny, by the time you touch it, fingerprints on it. But that's the nature of jewellery. That's just how it is. So you see that fits quite nicely now. And for me, I think that they look quite good as well. You know, they look quite smart. Even if you've banged that on something, yeah, you might get a couple of scratches, but the actual shape, it's not going to buckle out of shape, not like those things you see online, you know. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm literally going to cut it there, so I've got loads more to do. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and take care.